Looks like it's going to be too bright.
Yeah. Okay, well, the reason we're here, first of all, is I need to get this done for my portfolio. And it's a good, I think you'll find it helpful. I presented to second grade this morning, and Dr. Hawkins sat in there, and Dr. Hawkins immediately went back to her room and set up an account and had her kids working on it today. So hopefully it's something you'll feel that it's beneficial to you after you take a look at the presentation. So I had to create an online module with some Web 2.0 tools, technology tools that we can start using in the classroom. And when I do decide to take a job or go after a job as a media specialist, my goal is to plan with the classroom teachers on a regular basis so that we can share ideas. And like Ms. Williams does a great job with the makerspace and teaching fourth graders, just have that something that I can do with all the teams in the school. So this module, it's kind of set up, and if you ever want to do online modules, they're really great for that independent learner who's ahead of everything. You could set up a module like this for them and have them work independently on their own while you work with the other kids. But this one is designed with the goal for those who participate to, at the end, be able to create a Symbaloo page based on a math standard that parents and students can use to help them with their math homework or even help them understand their math classwork that you've given to them. Before we begin, we're not going to complete the lessons. I'm just going to highlight some things from the lessons, and if you get bored this summer and you want to create a Symbaloo page for your kids next year, and if some crazy way you find a moment to do that before the end of this year is over with, you can do so. But before we start, if you can click on the communication and survey link that I sent you all, and if you don't have it, you can just go through the motions. But there are two surveys. Survey 1, we complete before we look at the lessons and the final assessment. And survey 2 would be a survey you would complete after you complete the lessons and the final assessment. So if you all could click on the first survey, and there are 3 quick yes, no, somewhat, or maybe, or never questions that you can answer. And it's just to get an idea. Are you familiar with Symbaloo? Have you used it before? And we take these surveys just like a lesson, like a pretest. If you have 90% of your staff members who say, I'm familiar with Symbaloo, I know how to use it, then what would be the point of wasting time to do this presentation, right? Mm-hmm. And then you would decide that, let me try something else. Let me find another online tool that people may not be familiar with. But Ms. Williams and I thought that this would be a good resource to start, because some people may have heard about it, but you may not have found the time to use it because you don't know how and you want it to be quick and painless. So this will get you through that. So, show of hands, have any of you ever used Symbaloo before? No? Yay, awesome. So it'll really not be a waste of time for you. Okay. So, it's okay if you didn't get to the survey. The first lesson, there's a quick 2-minute video that tells you what Symbaloo is. And there's also a pretest that we could take on Kahoot. So we'll start with these 2 things, and then everything else I'll just go over. But I do want you all to, let's do the Kahoot. I know you all like kids. Everybody loves Kahoot. So just go Kahoot it. And some of the questions in this pretest, the goal is after you go through the lessons and the final assessment, you'll be able to go back and answer all these questions correctly if you get any of them incorrect. Does everyone know how to log into Kahoot?
We use your game pen, right?
Yeah. Just go to Kahoot.it in your search engine. Yeah. Clicking on my link will take you to my page. So yeah, just go to the regular Kahoot.
I'm just waiting on the internet to come up.
Yeah, my internet is moving slow today too.
Well, then I couldn't get logged into my email, and I don't know what's going on.
I love Google. It saves everything.
I know, but then when I pulled up my email, I pulled it up in IE, and I'm like, no, I know I've said it like 3 times to be Chrome as the default thing on here, and I'm like, I can't. I keep resetting. Okay, 389-881.
I love the names the teachers come up with.
What?
The nicknames some of the teachers come up with.
Oh, nickname.
Miss Cross, is you the number 1 player?
I will not reveal.
Okay.
So everyone's in.
The
So
final
Dre,
score.
so by default.
So the first question is, what would be a reason for a teacher to use Symbaloo? To provide links to their students, to send emails out to other teachers, to organize different units within the school year, or to provide websites to test and survey. Actually, 3 out of those 4 are correct. You can do all of this with Symbaloo, except send emails back and forth to each other. So it's a great tool to use to give your students research links so that they don't have to search for it. I'm sure you all know how much time that would save. You can organize your units with Symbaloo, and you can give websites, send links to websites to test in different surveys and assessments to your kids or your colleagues. Woohoo, K-Hall. So what are the tabs called on a Symbaloo? Do you think that they're called web links, tabs, web mixes, or web tabs? They're called web mixes, and we'll see what they look like and what they are. All right, great, moving up now. Come on, number 1 player.
They were the wrong game.
What are the squares that hold your website on Symbaloo called? Are they called tiles, boxes, links, or caps? They are called tiles. Very good. And we'll see what the tiles look like in an example I'm going to show soon.
I'm a good guesser.
What is one of the ways to create an account on Symbaloo? Can you do it through Instagram, Snapchat, Bing, or Google? And this is a question all of the 2nd grade teachers got right too. Google. You just Google Symbaloo and you can set up a free account. And I've had my account now for 2 years free, so it's not like a 30-day trial or time period. Last question, is creating a Symbaloo hard? And this is a true false. It should be yes or no, but it's a true false.
Oh, I think I answered the wrong one. Yeah, please, it's too fast. Oh, no, I didn't get it right. Okay.
It's false. It is not hard at all. Like I said, some of the teachers, 1 or 2 of them, have already created one and on the 2nd grade team today. So, yay, Dre, 5 out of 5. K-Hall's 4 out of 5. Green.
What happened, number 1 player?
Is there another page? Is there another podium on the next page?
All right, number 4 player.
And I don't know how often you use Kahoot, but like this could be a quick formative assessment. You see that get results, Excel sheet will come up and it'll have all your students' names. I usually make my students use their real name or initials. It'll have all of their names. It'll tell you each question. It'll show each question and show you which one they got right or wrong. So it's good data for you for a quick formative. So I love using this. It's fun for the kids, and then I don't have to grade papers after I do a quick assessment with them. So that kind of, once you take that pretest, when you go through the lessons, now you're going to say, I need to figure out what a tile is. I want to see what a web mix is. So you kind of already have that in your head. And that is the title of the lesson, What is a Symbaloo? So this is a quick 2-minute video on what a Symbaloo is. And we'll look for the tiles, look for the web mixes during this 2-minute video.
Damn it, not saved here either.
Welcome to Symbaloo. Symbaloo is a free visual and social bookmarking tool that allows you to save and share the best of the web in one place. Every user can customize and create their own set of web mixes. A web mix is a grouping of bookmarks saved in these customizable tiles. virtually anything that you could find on the web. This could be a YouTube video, a Google Doc, a photo, or of course just a regularly used website. You can create a tile yourself by clicking on an empty space and typing a URL into the first line of the tile creation wizard. Or you can search for a tile in our database, which contains over 30,000 pre-made tiles. Symbaloo is a platform you can use to organize and use your favorite RSS news feeds as well, which will either open up in the center widget, or you can build an entire web mix dedicated to only RSS feeds. Once you make a tile, you can place it anywhere within web mix. You can also delete and copy or move a tile by right-clicking on them, or dragging them either to the remove button or to another web mix. There are plenty of ways you can share and collaborate on web mixes with others. You can share your web mixes or single tiles over Facebook and Twitter, or by directly emailing the link. In our gallery, you can search and find web mixes created by other users and add them to your Symbaloo account. Your Symbaloo account saves all of your web mixes and personal settings to the cloud. You can access your account from your computer, tablet, and we have an app available in the App Store and in the Android market for your mobile device. Sign up and begin building your web mixes and tiles today. On Symbaloo. Start simple.
Okay, so a lot of our questions were answered in that short 2-minute video. For example, anyone want to share one of the questions that they saw answered from the Kahoot on the video?
The web mix is one.
Yeah, the web mix are like your page, your collection of items. So then we would do a prayer model. We don't have to do that. But lesson 2, now we have a general idea of what a Symbaloo is. So now, since we're creating one for a math standard, based on a math standard, lesson 2, I have the link to all of the math standards. And then this little activity is a multiple choice, one question, choice A, B, C, and that's the obvious answer if you're an educator. But it's like, which one of these would be an appropriate standard for adding and subtracting fractions? So you'd read them, choose A, B, or C, and then another great web tool to use in the classroom is Padlet. Any of you ever used Padlet before? Well, Padlet is, you have this up on your board, and if I gave you the link, the students the link, then they can go to Padlet and type in a code just similar to Symbaloo. Whatever they type, they just click their cursor on here, and a little text box will come up, and they just type their response to this question. And once they press enter, everyone's responses will come on the board. So it's a great discussion tool. So you just read everyone's responses. They can add their name to it, or they can leave it anonymous, and then you just talk about it. Okay, so that's another really good tool that I've been using the past couple of years. And especially with GMAS becoming electronic, we want to get our kids typing as much as possible and eliminate all the paper and pencil. So this is good, and you can save it after everyone finished typing their responses on here. You can save it, and you can always go back to it later when you're wrapping up the lesson. So that's just another great Web 2.0 tool that after you choose your standard, I have you send your response to me on Padlet. And with my kids now, they all have an Emoto account, so I put the Padlet link in their Emoto account, and that's how they would access it from there.
Now we can put that link in their Symbaloo account.
Yes, you sure can. Mm-hmm. So then, and if you've never used Padlet before, here is a video to show you how to use it, how to start your page, and it'll show you how the kids can respond to it if that's something you're interested in as well. So lesson 3, now we know what Symbaloo is. We know which math standard we want to use. And now there's another Kahooted, let's bring it all together. And it's differentiated. You can decide if you want to take the intermediate quiz or the advanced quiz. Now, because you've done the Kahoot before the lessons, now let's do one at the end to see what we've learned before we go to the final assessment. And the final assessment is step-by-step tutorial of you actually creating your own Symbaloo. The goal is for you to create your Symbaloo page based on a Common Core math standard, and in it you'll create a web mix of sites that will help your students master that standard. And you can share your web mix. If you did the lessons, again, I have a Padlet site that you could go to and copy and paste the link to your Symbaloo and send it to me. Here's a rubric that I would use to assess the Symbaloos if you decided to do this module. And then here's an example of my Symbaloo page. Remember at the beginning of the year when you all came to my class during the Egypt unit? Well, the kids were able to create those artifacts through this research, this Symbaloo page. I gave them the link to this Symbaloo, and they had a list of topics, and they got to randomly choose their topics. So if the student who had gods and goddesses, these were all the tiles, the links to websites to tell them about the gods and goddesses. That's where they got their research from. So all they had to do, instead of Googling, trying to search for information, I'd already found credible sites for them to use. So they went to the Symbaloo, and they can click on the first link. And there it is. So that eliminates time for them because I've already done the research. And so they just went through this, read it, gathered information, and that's how they created their artifacts for that gallery wall. So here's the web mix on the pyramids, the animals in Egypt, the schools in Egypt. So none of the students could say, I couldn't find any information. You know, it was already here for them.
Do you
on
title
the
your own
Symbaloo
titles?
page.
Do you put titles on your own titles so that they know, oh, okay, I want to do gods and goddesses, so it's easy for them to figure out which ones
It
of all
looks
those
just
titles
like
are.
this to them. This is exactly what they
I know,
saw.
I just can't read what's written on there.
Yeah, their titles.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
These three say gods and goddesses. These say pyramids.
Okay.
And there's an option when you create your tiles. You can click on it so that it'll ask you if you want to add the title, or if you don't click on it, you can type in your own title. And the pictures also come from the websites too. That helps them. So that's Symbaloo, and you can save many. Like my second graders did they did Australia, Great Barrier Reef. So I had a web mix for them too. That was separate from this one, but it's all on my one Symbaloo account. So there are also some other online tools after you mastered that one. This is another web mix I have on my Symbaloo of different online tools that I like to use all the time. Go Animate, Extra Math. I don't know if a lot of teachers here use Extra Math, but Extra Math is like an awesome tool. Dr. Green, you remember Extra Math from when we were in Fulton County? It's great. The kids, I have one parent. I only have one student now, and actually a fifth grader I don't even teach, but her mom asked me to set up an account for her for me to monitor. But this works well with your kids who need fat fluency. And Dr. Green, we do have one of yours that we need to set up on it in preparation for the GMAT. So I'm going to set up an account for her on Extra Math. Here's some reading comprehension worksheets. I use this with my son at home, my 9-year-old. This is a website that has a lot of reading comprehension tools. I have my Edmodo set up on this web mix, so it's easy for me to just go to that account. When I worked in Fulton County, we had iPad carts instead of laptop carts, and the librarian had a Symbaloo page on all the iPads. So it was easy for the kids to just click on whatever website they needed to go to. They didn't have to type in the search engine. So that is the module as a whole. And like I said, if you get bored, you actually want to go through the whole module and create some of these things and go over this, that would be great because it's public and it's online. Back to the communication. Now there's a survey after completing the module that you could actually take. You don't have to take it. But that's it. Symbaloo, like I said, I've been using it now for a couple of years. And actually, before I started taking my classes, I had heard of it, but I just didn't have time to get one done. But then it was a requirement in one of my classes, so I got it done, and now I actually really use it in class. And that's it.
Can I ask you a very basic, maybe even stupid question?
Mhm.
But my brain is not processing this as far as how it would work. The logistics of it. So I go in, I create a Symbaloo page, I create an account. Does each individual student have to have an account, or do they
No, your
log in?
students don't need a Symbaloo
Or so, like
account.
every time, so like you have Australia and you have Egypt, are they separate?
Yes.
You have a different account for every.
No, same account, but I'll pull up my Symbaloo.
So there's like a designated link for every web mix, so that
Every
you
web
would
mix you make, they give you a link that you can share for that specific web mix.
Gotcha.
So then they would click on that link.
They don't have to be able to
Mm-mm.
log in
Mm-mm.
as you. They just go to that.
They just click on the link
right
and
to
then
my
it's
web mix.
basically public domain. So it's like,
Yes.
if somebody happened upon that link, then they would be able to use it too.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't edit unless
No.
they sign in as you.
So this is my, like I have all these different web mixes. This is for one class. This is for same class. This is for my program, Challenge Kids. This is the one I just showed you all, but it didn't have everything on there. Project-based learning. This is one, and see this link right here where you click share. And then you just click, you copy and paste this link right here. And you send it to the students. So then they just have access to that one page you have. This was another web mix I did on plagiarism. So when you all do research, if you want this, I'll send this to you, this web mix, so you can teach your kids about plagiarizing. There are quizzes on here, there are videos on here, there are games on here about plagiarism.
Let me ask you another question.
Mhm.
If you were to put a link up there, like, you know, a lot of these websites, like MobyMax or BrainPop or things like that, they all have logins. Do you, with the tiles, is it a link to the website, or would it be a link to like for example, on BrainPop, the specific video that you want them to watch? Because they'd still have to log into BrainPop. So I just wouldn't. How do you do that? How would you do that? Like with
So-
MobyMax, they have to log in anyways, so it's like, you know, that would be one thing. But like BrainPop, there's so many different videos.
We'll see if it was, like I use Google, so if it was mine and on my web mix, if I was already logged in as my Google, it would go straight to the video. But if not, then yes, you would still have to do the login.
But I mean, like if you're doing it on a web mix to share with the kids, when the kids click on the link
Mm-hmm.
on their laptops, they're not logged in. So it would go to, it might go to the video, but they have to log in to
Right.
be able to view it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a way to like,
And it'll go straight after they log in, it'll go straight to that video.
so is there a way to keep like their, I don't know, like my kids keep forgetting all of their login information. It's like I've given it to them in like 3 different ways this year. Like some of them are great about remembering it. Is there any way of doing that? Like if you were going to link them to BrainPop, to have that BrainPop login information available with that? Or does this program not work that way necessarily?
I don't think it does.
Okay.
I'll be looking for it now that you've asked. I'll try to figure it out. But right now, I just have cards. And the kids who don't remember, I'm like, you go get your card. Like, I'm not getting it.
So that's
Well,
what
and I
I
did
do too.
cards at the beginning of the year, and then I got the little booklets. So I'm like, okay, here's the little booklets. So I can have them all, you know. And they're like losing them, and then they're like, I don't know my thing. I'm like, I guess you won't be able to go to it then.
And
you
with
were
my
going to have your
cards,
faithful 5.
they
your
have,
faithful handful who never.
Yeah, I just have a basket that sits near the door. So even when they have to go to the media center, and they just go, because I laminated them at the beginning, so even when I update their Lexile level, I just use a label and I just lay it on top.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if anything comes out, the label may come off, but the card itself is still laminated. And I think I've only had one kid that misplaced it the whole year. So,
Mine write their login information in front of their agenda. So they
Yeah,
use it at home
that's
too.
good too.
And they
Yeah.
they're like, I don't have 15 minutes.
See, my
Yeah.
mom, mine do. Knock on wood. I haven't
So
had
I'm
that
just trying to
problem.
think ahead for next year. Like, okay, like what can I do next year? And
The other thing is, for me, I just try to make them simple, like the first and last
And
name.
that's what I did too.
I give them the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Read Theory assigns a password and login or a login, and I just make that the login for everything.
Well, me,
I
they're
print
in
out that
Moto.
list, and they have
I
the
go
same
back
login
and
for
I change
everything.
What
They're
number?
in
I made
Moto
the logins
accounts.
the
I
same as
made
what they
them.
log
I
into
said
the
use the
computer
same
with?
username and password you do to log into the computer.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
what I usually make my kids do. When they have to create an account, so
See, mine's mine.
we
Last
walked
year,
step by step
it
and
was
did their Moto
yes,
accounts together,
2015.
and I made them use the same username and password that they use to log into these computers.
And that's what I set up everything as too on here, but like with MobiMax.
Because they don't forget this one, how to log into the
Right.
Yeah.
computer. They never forget that
they
one.
remember
But like
that
then
one.
they'll look at me and they'll be like, I'm like, and it's on the board. The NNES 1617 for Read Theory and for MobiMax on the board. It's like my password's not working.
One
What
thing
was
is you
you
can
on? Like-
relate the password to what it is. Like for Zern, mine is math 1 2 3 4, and for Read Theory, it's book 1 2 3 4. So
See,
that
all
would
of
be
mine are
Moby Max would
ranking
be Moby
331.
1
That's
2
our
3
number.
4.
And that's for my first graders. That's what it is. It's room 529. Like the password is room 529. Because first
Ranking
graders.
331.
I'm like, if they can remember their they never forget this password and username. So whenever I create new accounts with them, I just tell them use the same username and password you have for the computer, and that usually works.
That's what I've done for most of them. And then they're like, well, I don't know what to do for Zern. And I'm like, it's the same as everything else. Like Read Theory and MobiMax are the only ones that are
That's just going to be a problem we're going to have to deal with. But that's it. So thank you all,
Awesome.
and I
Thank
hope
you.
you'll
That's pretty
find
cool.
it useful.
Now you just
I've
want to share
fallen in
again
love
at the
with
beginning
it.
of next year. So that
Right.
we-
But you have the link now, so you can go through
But
the
I
module
think if we
and do
sit
it
down and
yourself.
you can create units and stuff, we can go ahead and start.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. Like, okay, pre-planning, team meeting. Okay, everybody get out. You're gonna work on Simply for this one. You're gonna work on one for
And
this
that's
one.
why people like you could set it up. I'm doing this standard, and then you Google all the videos and websites with worksheets and everything that relate to that standard, and put it on a web mix. It's awesome. Thank you all for
Thank you.
letting
Thank
me
you.
share
Excellent.
with you all.
And Padlet too. I like that one too. Yes,
I love Padlet.
because that's so much easier than like using a Post-it or.
And
I
hopefully
don't
you
know,
recorded
what-
this.